right, good morning everyone. It's around 2 minutes to 3 a.m. New York time, which means coming up at the London Open. I'd like to welcome you to the stream today, Zerillion Trading. I don't think we have any live viewers yet. We're still just starting to generate a little bit of a following, having been live for just over about 2 weeks now, I guess it has been, but it's, slow to get these things up and running and started. But I'm going to take you here to the main screen and tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. I'm trading the NASDAQ futures. So these are micro E-minis. Doesn't matter what size the contract is, you can do whatever you wish on that. The principles we talk about today will apply to NASDAQ, to SPY, to the Dow, US 30, the DAX, Forex, crypto, pork bellies, corn, you name it, whatever you happen to be trading. Oil, of course, and gold. Gold's one of my favorites as well. But today we're just going to be focusing on the NASDAQ. There's been a lot of movement, of course, with a very high NASVIX volatility profile. And so this is where a lot of the action is right now for me. That's what we'll be focusing on, but we'll talk about a lot of things that will apply to many things. It is very early here. I have family members near my office room here at home, and so I'm speaking fairly quietly. Hopefully you can hear me. I have a good quality microphone. The New York session's a little bit different. I can speak more freely and forcefully, but hopefully this will work just fine for you, and we'll accomplish some things here together. Yesterday was challenging. We made money in the London session. We lost money in the New York session, but was able to make it back throughout the day. We took, at least I took three winning trades in a row during the session, and then near the end of the day, I think it was around 3 p.m. In New York, to be able to get back into the green for the day. So far we've had 0 losing days since we've been streaming live, and 0 losing sessions. I had a losing open on New York, but then was able to close it in the green yesterday, so we're doing just fine. And as I always mention, that will not continue. We're going to have losing sessions. We will have losing days. We may even have losing weeks, although that is less likely, but it can happen. All right, let's take a look. We have the NASDAQ 10-minute chart on the left-hand side. We have the 1-minute chart on the right-hand side. So 10 minutes on the left, 1 minute on the right. We'll be using 10-minute for entry reasons, so looking for 10-minute reasons to enter the market, and the 1-minute chart for refining the entries. We do have an open now on London. The first candle is unfolding. We're 50 seconds into the London Open. We're also going to look over at the sisters. I call this the 4 sisters in the case of London. It's only 3 in the New York. And we're looking at the NASDAQ again on the far left. This is the one we're trading. The next one over to the right is the Dow, US 30. And then the S&P 500, SPX, SPY, call it whatever you want. And then finally the DAX, the German index, on the right-hand side. And what we're looking for here, just to be clear, is looking for congruency, synchronicity, or divergence amongst these indices to give us clues as to what the next move may in fact be. And everything's about maybe in trading. Of course, there are no certainties, and this really is a game about managing uncertainty. It's about managing human nature, and I repeat that every time we do these, because it's such a critical frame to come into these markets with, to understand what's going on internally, not even so much externally, although of course the externals do matter very much. So we'll see now that the 3 U.S. indices are trading above the New York Open from yesterday. The NASDAQ, Dow, and S&P and DAX are all now trading lower than the London Open. That's that blue dash you see there. That will unfold as a horizontal line as we move out to the right, as more candles are produced. Back to the main screen, where we'll spend the vast majority of our time looking for 10-minute reasons to enter on the left, and then 1-minute chart on the right-hand side. I know I'm repeating myself, but I do it on purpose, based on experience. I won't be speaking the whole time. I like to have a nice peaceful stream. We let market action unfold, and we calmly react to it. drawing up some very simple support and resistance zones here on the 10 minute. Scrolling out so you can see why I have the zones where I have them. Hopefully we can get some cleaner movement on this London Open than we got yesterday on the New York Open. We shall see. I will often wait for this first 10-minute candle to complete itself or to finish before taking any action. There are circumstances where I'll trade right out of the gate. This is not one of them. Market's actually been fairly strong in the pre-market. NASDAQ is up 67 points, was up over 100 points just a few minutes ago. But now showing signs of weakness again, although this first candle is really, doesn't really tell us much. In terms of what's going to happen for the rest of the day. This is where we get that shakeout, where many institutions are coming in and doing some buying, doing some selling, doing some rebalancing, taking profits, taking losses, you name it. It's a huge combination of things happening there right on the open. And that's why we focus on it, because there's movement. Where there's movement, there's opportunity. Pretty simple. For those who are new, which is just about everybody, because we're new here on social media, I trade this scalp account from Interactive Brokers. I use IB Interactive Brokers, so it's on a different monitor. But I'll show you what I'm thinking and what I'm doing here on TradingView, because it's just such a great platform to use as a charting demonstration tool with so many indicators and drawing tools and what have you. Interactive Brokers does not have a great charting program at all, almost zero drawing tools and things like that. So, but their execution is outstanding. Their spreads, and I don't have an affiliation with them at all, but they're used by large institutions and big traders as well as small traders. But because their fees, commission spreads are tremendous and their execution is very good, they don't worry too much about charting, and that's kind of fluff in their minds, I think. if I had to guess based on some conversations I've had with their staff members, that's not their thing. They'll send you to TradingView for pretty charts. So I'm not sure which way I'm going with this now on NAS this morning. I may take no trades. I occasionally will take no trades in a session. I usually do take a trade, or two or three, but sometimes I take none. But there's always lots to learn from price action, whether we take a trade or not. Three minutes and 10 seconds or 15 seconds left in this candle. Now we're seeing a reversal. This is why we wait. If we would have taken the cue to sell based on that nice big blue candle a few seconds ago, that might turn into a mistake, given that this candle, for a moment there, was almost going to flip to a white candle. And in my case, white means up, blue means down, using very simplistic terms. Since it is 7 minutes after 3 a.m. for me, I am going to be sipping on my coffee here in between chats. Gonna get me started for the day. Very long day usually, but an enjoyable day. I'll try not to let the microphone pick up my coffee slurping. I don't actually slurp, but you get the idea. 2 minutes left in the 10-minute candle. Nothing for me yet. I'm going to take you back to the three sisters, or the four sisters in this case, and you'll see what we're looking at here. The blue horizontal line being the London Open. London Open right here. Here on the Dow. Here on the SPY. And here in the DAX. So what we're seeing here is pretty consistent price action. Prices trading below the London Open on all four indices and trading below the 20 EMA on all four indices. These are 1 minute charts, by the way, just like the chart on the right hand side here on the main screen. New candle starts in 1 minute. The yellow line is the New York Open from yesterday, right? Yesterday's New York Open. So you'll see the DAX and the NAS trading just on or below the New York Open, whereas the Dow and SPY are trading above yesterday's New York Open. So again, we're looking at this divergence and trying to garner some information or some clues as to what might happen next. Candle closes in 10 seconds. And when things happen here while we're scalping, they happen very quickly. If you want to follow along, and this is not a signal service, I don't encourage you to take the trades necessarily, but if you want to do something similar, you'll need to watch and listen very closely. I don't mean to sound like a school teacher, but things will happen fast, and hopefully I can give you time to act on your own stuff in a way that you find appropriate. Nothing to do with taking signals. This is for educational purposes, and for entertainment purposes. Candle pulling up. I may look for a short here. This is not an order entry. This is just a marker to show you what I'm thinking. As we create a wick. This is a kind of a sluggish open compared with the way things have been going lately. This is not a trade marker. Just getting things ready to explain what I'm doing. I'm over now in Interactive Brokers. I would have liked to see more of a pull up there. Give me a moment. Not entering anything yet. Okay, here's the stops. Sell stop right there. Sell stop, you can still get in. Sell stop, not that you should be copying. Stop at the top of the body of the current candle. Target 12 pips. As you'll hear me repeat a lot, being okay with being stopped out with a small loss or a break-even trade. You'll understand more why we do that as you continue to follow our expanding content. I would have preferred, again, a bigger pullback here before entering, but this is what the market's giving us, and so we'll take advantage of it. We'll flip the coin here. Based on the 1 minute chart, I'm actually going to move my stop to above this candle. And it looks like we're going to get taken out. There's some fresh buying coming in here. being okay with taking that loss of 15 and a quarter if it hits. I'm still in for now, but I think this is going to pull back towards the 20. We'll see. On the 1 minute chart I'm looking at, by the way, in terms of the 20, here it comes. Still trading below the open. Yeah, largely uneventful open, I should say. We were hoping for some more momentum follow through there on that particular entry. But we'll watch, and taking expenses along the way. Here we go. Expenses being small losses or break-evens. Because a break-even is no expense unless there's a little bit of a commission there, but you get the idea. A break-even for many traders is an emotional expense, and those are probably the most difficult ones to deal with and to manage, because this is very much a psychological game. As any trader who's been doing this for a while will attest to. Very sluggish. Interesting dynamics. There we go. Pull up. Nas is up 76 points now, was up 100 and something, so it looks like I might want to resume that move to the upside. It was quite a strong pre-market given the sell-off we had yesterday, in which case we might be looking for long opportunities here, as a matter of fact, but we'll see how this pans out. We'll take expenses as we need to. Flip over to another screen here for a minute. I want to check something. Things could get interesting today. Here it is. Okay, so I'm out. Give me one moment. Just looking at something here, and I'll show it to you in a minute. So that's a 15 and a quarter point loss. 15 quarter point loss here so far. Minutes left in this candle. Looks like it's going to be almost an indecision candle after giving us that little bit of a false entry. Some will call it sort of a fake out on the scalping scale. To me, it's just normal price action and cost of doing business. I'm going to leave this trade market here just for a little while. See how this pans out. And then talk about managing frustration as this then hits our target. Potentially, we'll see. Waiting for this candle to close. Just watching now. 1 minute left in the 10-minute candle. Something tells me I'm going to need to exercise patience today. Kind of change my mind frame a little bit from the kind of frantic action we've been having lately to a slower paced opening today, and potentially giving our scalps, or giving my scalps, a little bit more room than I would typically do. But we'll see. A little perspective. Mentioned the idea of switching to a long bias here, and that may in fact be the case. Switching back to the sisters, let's get an update here on what's going on. Blue horizontal line being the London Open. We'll ignore that yellow line for now. Yesterday's New York close. See if we can get some clues here. Price is pulling back towards the London Open, so its own open. Now all three of the US indices breaking through on the 1 minute. See that there? 1, 2, 3, breaking through, and now closing above the London Open. I'm dropping to the 5-minute chart on the left-hand side. Dropping from the 10-minute to the 5-minute. I don't often do this, but I'm doing it today, and I'll show you why. Looking for the momentum push back into this resistance. Excuse me. Dry air here in the in my office as we move into the cooler months. And that heater comes on. 15 seconds left in the 5-minute candle. I like this wick that's forming on top of that candle. I'd like to see a further pullback and then look for a potential drive higher. I'm entering a buy stop order, and I'm going to try to show you here in time above here. Give me 1 minute on my platform. Think about buy stop though. Think in terms of buy stop above. It's the emergency stop, by the way. It's not the actual stop. This is dynamic process, by the way. You'll see me move things around here. So I encourage you to stay very focused attention if you're interested in precisely what's happening here. I might switch back to shorts. I'm going to see what happens here first. All right. Buy stop above the wick of the current candle. This is a tricky entry, by the way. This is not for the faint of heart. And again, I might change this up. We'll see here. We might actually flip bias. Yeah. Cancel that. Buy stop canceled. Now looking towards a sell. This market's toying with us a little bit today. That's okay. It's all part of the game. A game of cat and mouse. We're on the 5-minute chart on the left-hand side now. Flipping back to the 10-minute chart. I'm now on the 10-minute chart. Again, that's our primary chart, by the way, on the left-hand side. Two minutes left. Nice wick rejection on the 10-minute and a flip to blue. 2 minutes left. Potentially looking towards sells now. I want to see how this pans out. There's a little bit of back and forth going on. Watching that 1 minute. There it goes. All right. Just watching, remaining cool and calm, not reacting impulsively. Remembering that we're trading the most certain moves, not every move. We're not trying to catch the biggest move. We're not trying to catch all moves. We're not even trying to catch most moves. We're trying to catch the most certain move. And there's nothing certain about trading, and certainly not about scalping. Interesting. Back to the sisters. Let's get these lined up a little bit here and get a feel for what's going on. You'll notice that the Dow is selling off significantly, where it was the stalwart yesterday. Right, it's an opposite dynamic. I will tell you, I took 2 shorts during this move in my own account, but it wasn't something I would share openly on the stream because it happened so quickly, number one, so I wouldn't have time to tell you or to show you with trade markers, and I certainly won't, put it in the record, so to speak, because it just doesn't matter. But scalping happens very quickly, as you probably know if you've been doing this for a while, and sometimes you get a chance to discuss things and sometimes you don't. All right, rejecting a little bit here. We'll watch that 1 minute so you can see what's happening at that that zone. We are back on the 10-minute. nothing here for me, guys. This is just about watching and waiting. It takes a little bit of patience, or a lot of patience. I need to wait this 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Two and a half minutes left. Rather uneventful and boring London Open so far. Took that 115.25 point loss today. A little expense in our trading business. It's just part of the game. Minute and 22 left in this candle. Bear with me, I'm just looking at a few things on a different screen here for some guidance. All right, the new candle has begun. Notice how that body is very much in the middle or near the middle of that candle. Just some kind of sloppy indecision happening now after that push down. But even that candle would have taken out a lot of traders either side of this. It's just the way this works early in the session. Watching now the 1 minute in concert with the 10-minute chart. Looking for some clues. This thing is basically slowed down to a crawl at this point. A little bit of a push now. But not particularly constructive for us, or for me. Zero information from the sisters. A newer trader might be tempted to short the NAS here, looking at what's happening with these other indices and this nice orderly pullback to the 20 EMA and then failing to break above. But when we go back to the main screen, you'll see that we're at this intermediate support here, and that can be a bit of a stumbling block. Now, this thing could just blow right through, and higher than 50% chance that it will, given the momentum this morning. And looks like it might happen even now, but we need to see that happen before we get overly convinced of the move. For now, the story is the waiting game. And if you're here for excitement, that's not fun. But trading for excitement is a very expensive endeavor in the long run. I can assure you that from personal experience. Trading is often boring. It's a grind. It's not sexy. It's not a lot of sizzle. It's a lot of sitting and waiting and being patient, managing impulses. And that last part is probably the most important part, is learning and developing the ability to manage impulses. It's a game of impulse control and mastering yourself. The charts are just a secondary thing, you know. They're necessary, they're table stakes. Like a tennis racket isn't playing tennis, you need to have that. But once you have that, it becomes largely irrelevant. And all of a sudden, impulse control, emotional management, managing uncertainty and randomness becomes everything. Because the trading model and the charts are just table stakes, right? We don't even have to talk about it. It's like having a salad and saying, you know, you need to have lettuce. Well, we all know that, you know, it's a starting point in a salad. And that's the same as it is with a trading model, a trading edge, a trading method, a trading philosophy. That's all table stakes. If you don't have that, you don't have a game. But once you have that, you need to discount it to near zero in terms of importance, because that will not make and break you. It will in fact be everything else we just talked about in terms of psychology, emotional management, impulse control, and self-knowledge. During times like this, when things are sluggish and not moving and not giving us activity and action, this is when the rubber meets the road, and we separate those who will be profitable from the perennial losers. I don't mean losers in life, but losers in this game. Waiting for this 10-minute candle to close in 2 minutes and 20 seconds to see if it has anything to show us next. It's 3:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in New York time. So we're 48 minutes into the London session. We've taken one trade. It was a small loss of 15.25 points. There is, I shouldn't say small because it depends on how much one risks on the trade. I encourage traders to use ARM multiples. Now we're getting a push into the last minute and 35 seconds of this candle. "55 seconds left. I'm not feeling a lot of conviction around any idea here this morning at this time. So we got 10 seconds left in this candle. We may go for a simple wick fill here and say we being me. And there is a possibility that I'm trading out of boredom. I mean, I deal with these same impulses as anybody else. And sometimes I decide how much I want to put behind them in terms of finances. Buy stop. Buy stop right above that wick. Just going up to my own account here. Buy stop above that wick. In the trade. Just managing this over on my own account here. Give me one moment, please. Stop to below the body of the white candle. Stop to break even. Very high chance of being taken out, and I'm okay with that. Very high chance. And I'm still in. Stop is at break even. Still in. If you're taking a similar trade and you're nervous, you could take some off here. It's completely up to you, or just close it completely just to get some points. It's not what I'm doing. I'm going to hold out for this one. As a matter of fact, I think this could potentially take us up to here into this space. But we'll see. Stop is at break even. Move into a small profit. Just to at least give us a little psychological boost. Watching closely now. If you're in a similar trade, you could tighten stop even more just to lock in some more. See if we can push through this. We need one more push. You see that 1 minute is giving us a little bit of a micro double top, so we might not be able to get through all of that. What we could do is bring it down to 15.5, just a little momentum push above that body. I mean, obviously the safest place is right at the top of that body, which is what it tapped, but all right, let's see if we can get back to the trail that had already blazed right there, top of that wick. Really zooming in here to watch this action, as you can see. Just need that final push. If you're following this, you've likely already taken your profits. That's just the way human nature works. That's okay. I'm willing to give it all back. Some frustrating price action this morning. Very sluggish. But we just have to dance with what the market gives us. That's what this game's all about. Patience. Discipline. Moving my target a little bit higher. But that 1 minute is not cooperating. All right, looks like I might get taken out here at my small win. Yeah, she's coming down. Okay, I am out with a small win. That's a 1 point. Oops. Take that off. If you were doing something similar, you likely took a profit near the top there, and that's good. But we will put that in the 1 point win column. Those are the little frustrations that scalping can bring you. You can see it there in the wicks, right? You see this wiki action. You see the price action wanting to take us up here and then down here and then finishing near the middle. Again, this body near the middle. There's this fragile dance going on between the buyers and the sellers, the longs and the shorts, the bulls and the bears, as is always happening in the markets. But when you see the reconciliation of these 10-minute candles, as you see here, it can be a frustrating endeavor when you're scalping for relatively small numbers of points. I have some other trading colleagues in London and Germany and other places in the world who are struggling with this open as well. It's difficult to take much out of a market that's just kind of meandering back and forth. There are days when the market offers you tremendous opportunities and you take advantage of them and you get rewarded for it. So far today, you don't get rewarded for much. Some would argue, and I could even make the case myself, that I should have taken off that trade here at the top of that body. And quite frankly, if you watch a lot of my videos, that's typically where I will do it. I went for a little bit more today, and I'm not going to lie, it's because we were already down 15 points, 15 and a quarter, and I wanted to get that back. And I just need to always, look into my own psychology and my own motivations for what I'm doing, every trade and every move, and potentially admit to myself that that's what I was doing, and gave up a 15-point winner for an extra half a point to manage my stream psychology, right? If I was trading alone, would I have done that? And the answer is probably or possibly no. And so when I do my trade review, which I do at the end of every day, I will determine that for myself, and I get painfully honest with myself. when I journal my trades and track them. Because I, like every trader, is constantly managing the ins and outs of their own psychology. As I mentioned earlier, that is the game. That's the real game of trading. Taking you back to the sisters grid, you'll see that there's really nothing going on here. This is the consensus too out there this morning, is that this is just it's a westbound trade, right? Or eastbound trade, I guess you can say. Sideways. This, let me take you back. This being northbound, this being southbound, we are now in a eastbound trade. 8 minutes left in this candle. Still offering us nothing to speak of. I shouldn't say us, there are 1,000 ways to scalp, and this is just the way that we're doing it today here on the stream. There's a bush. But it just filled the wicks. But you'll see as we get up to here, this is the move I was going for earlier. There it is. So I got tagged out here, and then the move was completed. And that's happened to us twice today, I believe, already. And that is trading. So far, since we began streaming about a couple of weeks ago, I guess, every London session has been profitable. Every New York session has been profitable. Yesterday's New York Open was a significant loss, but throughout the New York session yesterday was able to make it back with 3 successive trades and successful trades after that, and finish in the green. So it's been good. Today looks like, since there's nothing much to offer us at this point, this may be a losing open, but we'll see how the rest of the London pans out. As far as news goes, there's some big news at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. It's PPI, month over month in the U.S. That's red folder news. And then 2 p.m. is FOMC minutes, and that's can be a big one as well. It's not an interest rate announcement or anything, but it's the minutes of the FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee meetings, and that can be a mover. That'll be the New York session. Waiting for the 10-minute candle to close here for the purposes of the stream. To see if we can get this wick fill move here. That would be a nice little move, about 15 points or so. We shall see. So sluggish movement with the occasional little push, and then goes back to zombie mode. Again, can be a bit of a grind. That's what we're experiencing today. One and a half minutes left in this 10-minute candle. And rejecting at that zone. Right there, if we can't even get a close above, it's more of the waiting game. All right, I was hoping for more from that candle. And close below. All right, current candle flipping. I may look at a buy stop right here. Buy stop above this candle. Buy stop above this candle. Get over to my platform here. For me, one of the greatest challenges is managing boredom, to be quite frank with you. I have a squirrel brain. It's something I've been dealing with for, well, my entire life. And I like action, I like activity, I like adventure, but you'll often hear me talk here about how trading for action, trading for adventure will be catastrophic for your account. And that's something that I need to manage at all times. So I need to always be guarding myself against manufacturing trades out of thin air when there's nothing to be had. If the market's not moving, entering the market means trying to squeeze water from a stone. The water being movement, momentum, and volatility. If there is none, one should step away. And that's a theme that has to run through my mind during every trading session, today notwithstanding, as we see this kind of action here. You can push now on the 1 minute. But again, stepping over to the sisters, you'll see that there's really nothing going on here. This is a whole lot of nothing, just gyrating and meandering around its own 20 EMA. There's no boost, thrust, momentum move. A bit of a flip happening now. I'm very much aware that I may be trying to manufacture a trade here where there is none. I just want to make that clear for the record. As I candidly and transparently share my thoughts and feelings with you. I'm in this trade now, watching very closely. Stop to below current body. Very high chance of being taken out. Very high. Out. 2.75. 2.75. Wow. So was it a good thing that we tightened stop? Absolutely. All right, delete the trade marker so we can focus just on price action and see what's going on here. So now in retrospect, so when the brain starts to play tricks with you and say, you were manufacturing a trade, it's confirmed. Well, it's not confirmed because of what just happened there, right? It's either I manufactured a trade or I didn't. And the outcome of the trade is actually not the deciding factor. It'll all happen during the forensics and trade evaluation at the end of the day. The fact of taking a loss or near break even in this case has nothing to do with the motivation behind the trade or whether it was a good idea or a bad idea. Good trades can lose money, bad trades can make money. I've had some spectacular wins on very bad trades, unresourceful trades. And that's what makes trading so challenging and so interesting. It's a very unique psychological endeavor. So a little push up, and the reason I took that trade on the flip from blue to white on that candle is in an expectation of an expanding price action, given this consolidation and this whole lot of nothing, as you see on the sisters here. So very often after a period of consolidation or congestion or range boundedness, we will have range expansion. It's just the way this works. It's a cyclical pattern. It happens on the micro time frame as well as on the macro, whether you're looking at monthlies, weeklies, or daily charts, or on the 10-minute and the 1-minute chart in our case. You're still going to see this oscillation between congestion and consolidation and expansion and momentum move. So that could have been what we saw there, could have been the start of that range expansion, in which case it would have been sheer genius that we entered at that point. It turns out that the market's not ready to go yet. It will go. We just don't know exactly when that will happen, but I suspect it's pretty close, maybe even frustratingly close. Blue background, of course, is the London session that we're currently in. This other shade of blue is the Asian session. Asian, London, New York. Asian, London, and New York will play out over here. Excuse me, I just banged into my microphone there. Apologize for that. I will say that for me, this London session is demanding a tremendous amount of patience and long suffering. Sometimes that just has to do with the amount of sleep that you had or failed to have. Or you didn't get enough caffeine, or you got too much caffeine, or you're struggling in your relationships, or some other stressor in your life plays a huge part in how you act and react to the market's actions, the market movement. All right, so Nas is making another attempt to push above where these wicks have been rejected. Rejection, 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 and now trying to accomplish something that these candles had not been able to accomplish. 3.5 minutes left. I would need to see a close above that range at this point in order to consider taking a long. Nothing clean about any of this. But if it was all clean, anybody could trade it, and then it wouldn't work. We need some confusion and we need challenge between the players, between the parties, so that we can make a market. There's somebody on the other side of each one of my trades who thinks they know something different. Remember, the futures market is a zero-sum game. For every winner, there's an equal loser. Because these contracts are actually created out of thin air, leading to open interest, right? Which is unlike the stock market, which has actual digital share certificates that have a life after you after you've released them from your account. One minute and 50 seconds left in this candle, and there it goes. If this thing pushes up without us, I'll just have to laugh a little bit. Otherwise, you just wish you would have stayed in bed this morning instead of getting up at 2 a.m. New York time. All right, preparing now to take a long stab at this point. I call it a stab because everything feels like a stab this morning here in this session. This is not an active order, by the way, just marking it up so you can get an idea of what I'm thinking. Coming up on 45 seconds left on this. We'll be looking for a pullback before entering in my case. It's just the way I'm seeing this one now. Getting my orders ready in my own account. "25 seconds left on this candle. I like that pullback, but it needs to close above this area for me. As I said, I suspect the next push might be up. It's only a suspicion. That's not in yet. It's not a trigger, right? I want to see this pull back first. Buy stop above that wick. Buy stop above that wick. For me. This candle pulls back too much. I'll just take this off and call it a session, not a day, because I'm still in New York. And that will likely be a big one, given what's coming in terms of news. This one's just been a sleep fest, quite frankly. All right, so there's the buy stop. Just want to see something here, measuring something. An extra 3 points on the flip. I'll sometimes take that on the flip of the bodies right here. Today I'm going to play it a little more conservatively. In other words, I'm asking the market to give me more in order to prove that it's going up, or that it has a higher likelihood of going up. Because this is so sluggish that just flipping to a little bit of white here on this blue candle, flipping to a little bit of white, doesn't tell me a hell of a lot, given today's market action, right? I'm asking it to show me more, but it's pulling back pretty hard. Again, I'm not in this trade, just waiting for it to prove itself. Looking back over at the sisters, still super sluggish action, right? There's nothing going on here. Prices below London Open. At this point, I'm not interested in what the DAX has to say. I'm just going to get rid of that. We'll focus on the 3 US indices. NAS, Dow, SPY. All right, so for now this is null and void. There's no entry. That candle pulled back far too much, far too hard. If it does flip back around, then I'd be more interested, but it'll have to do that first. Just gonna step away for a couple of minutes here and go feed my cat. His name is Pickles. It's even early for him. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, we're back. Pickles has been fed. He's very happy. And still nothing going on in this market. That is a whole lot of sideways. This meandering mess we call the London Open today. As is evidenced by these sisters charts as well. There's vacillation around the 20 EMA below the London Open. Below and below. One drive down. And then just slowly working its way up, but doing it with very wide 1 minute swings, making sure that everybody gets crushed, whether you're long or short, scalping, right? If you're swing trading, it's not a problem. And by the way, we are primarily swing traders at Cerulean. We believe the big money's made in the swing and in the position trades, but we scalp just because we can and because we know that YouTube likes it. And you can build an account quite nicely with it if you're good. And it's very, very difficult. Scalping is probably one of the most difficult things you can do. The vast majority, nearly 100% of scalpers lose money. I can say that with a pretty good degree of confidence. I don't mean lose money over a session, a day, even a week or a month, or even several months. But over the long term, over a year, 2, certainly 5, the vast majority, nearly 100%, I believe, will do break even or worse. Because it's such a difficult game. Again, having everything to do with managing human nature, psychology, the stuff that's going on in your life, and how it affects your decisions when navigating these markets. So the long and short of it is, for me, this is a no trade zone. Right? As long as prices are in this zone here, there's nothing for me. Right? It's a 35 point range. All right, guys, I hate to do this. I might wrap it up here since there's nothing going on. I will tell you that what I'm looking for is a break out of this range, as I mentioned, either to the upside or to the downside, and would consider taking a long here to fill that gap. It's not a real technical gap, but you know what I mean. Or to fill this, and barring that, we've got another good piece below here. And so what I'm going to do is, I'll be watching these markets all day for the rest of London and all the way through New York. We're back to live stream the New York session. But if anything happens between that, I will try to live stream it, doing a pop-up live stream to show it to you live. Otherwise, you can see what I'm thinking here. And I may be able to record it or stream it live or both. I was having problems yesterday and the last couple of days doing pop-up streams, and I know I need to set up some kind of a broadcast in OBS, the software that I use for streaming, like I do have for the London Open and the New York Open. Those are streamed live, and I want to do the same thing when I do these pop-up trades during the day occasionally when things set up. I was going to figure out how to do that, and we'll try that. In the meantime, this is a range-bound market. I'm looking for buys above here. I'm looking for potential sells below here. This piece here is about 28, 29 points. This piece here is about 30 points, right? We are I am down on the day marginally. Well, I shouldn't say marginally. We had a 15.25 point loss. We had a 1 point gain, and we had a minus 2.75. Now that 1 point gain actually went 15 points. Could have taken it out and finished this thing break even, but I was a bit stubborn and didn't. And so I'm sitting here with a drawdown of 17, 18, call it 17 points, right? Negative 17 points. Minus 17. I'm going to put that here so it's on, and I'll call it the record. Minus 17 points net today. So that'll be there on the stream. But the day's not over. The day's not over. The London session's not even over. Far from it. It's only 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I'll leave it there. I want to thank you very much for joining me. I wish you a great day, and we will talk soon. Take care, guys.